It's tea time. So sit back and relax.
It's time for something sweet. Hi, I'm Debbie.
And I'm Courtney.
Welcome to the home of Almost Vegan Cooking School. So today we're going to learn how to prepare some scones for our tea. And I have been looking forward to this because Courtney has been sharing her scones with me for quite some time. And I'm excited that we're going to learn how to make it today.
And actually, every time I serve these scones, I get asked for the recipe. And this recipe was actually inspired by the Engine 2 cookbook.
Oh.
And I got a little creative with it. I encourage you all to get a little creative also. That's part of the joy of cooking.
Yeah, and I can see that you're using a variety of flour here too, some nut flour and some grain flour, which replaces the all-purpose flour that normally is used with scones.
And it packs in a ton of nutrition. So for the base of our scones, we're going to be using a cup each of some oat flour, some almond flour, and our secret ingredient, some hazelnut flour. And the reason we're using the hazelnut flour is because the first time I made these, I just used the oats and the almond flour and I added some toasted hazelnuts into the scones.
That sounds good.
It was delicious, but gosh, I almost broke a tooth on those hazelnuts. So I wanted the flavor without as much crunch, so I substituted the hazelnut flour.
Yeah, I know we're so used to like going to the grocery store and buying our flours when we start baking, but literally the almond meal is just ground up whole almonds.
Yeah.
You could do it in your Vitamix or your food processor.
And the same thing with the hazelnuts and the oats. You can make those at home.
That's the beauty of cooking and baking with whole foods.
Yeah. So we've preheated our oven to 400 degrees and we've added our 3 flours to our bowl, and we're just going to mix in our wet ingredients, which includes some maple syrup, some vanilla, and a little bit of water. And this is really just the base for our scones. And then we're going to add in the fun ingredients. And that could be anything from some dried fruit, some nuts, chocolate chips, coconut, really anything that you like and that you have on hand. Okay, so we've mixed up the base for our scones. And as you can see the texture here, it's nice and thick, some sticky, and well mixed together. And we're gonna get started with our add-ins. So this is where we get creative. Today we're using some fresh walnuts, pecans, pistachios, and some dried cherries.
And the dried cherries too are part of Dr. Greger's Daily Dozen. They fall in that berry category and they have a lot of anti-inflammatory properties. And the pistachios, it's really hard to find them plain without being roasted and salted. So the best way to get that gorgeous green color and the freshness is to shell them. It takes a little bit more effort, but it's worth it in the long run.
So we've added all of our chopped nuts and dried cherries to the scones, and Debbie's gonna mix that up. Now you can mix it with a spoon, but it's a lot more fun and a little quicker to get in there with a gloved hand. So everything's mixed together now. We incorporated all of our fruits and nuts, and we're ready to form our scones. We've divided the batter into half, and we're each going to form each half into a circle about 1 inch thick.
And we're using parchment paper just because the batter's rather sticky and it's a little easier to work with. And the other thing, do you remember when you used to have raw cookie dough when you were growing up, when your mother was making cookies? Well, this doesn't have any egg in it, so you really can enjoy a spoonful and it's rather delicious.
It is very good, so make sure you don't eat the whole thing. So each of our circles is going to make 8 scones, and we're going to cut them like pie slices. Now we like them cut small like this because it gives us more of those crispy edges around the outsides, and that's one of the best parts. And because they are quite filling.
So this was the instruction from Courtney. She said we want to let the air circulate around the scones so you space them a little bit apart on your baking tray. And that's the delightful part. They're soft on the inside and you get a nice crisp edge.
So our scones are ready for the oven. We have them on some parchment paper here, and they're gonna go in the oven set at 400 degrees for about 13 to 15 minutes.
Oh, these scones are so good right out of the oven.
And you know, they travel well too.
Oh,
I
that's a
take these
great
scones
idea.
with me everywhere.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. I might start doing that too. Anyway, it is so nice just having the kitchen clean
And the aprons are off.
and the aprons are off and just sitting down and having tea and a little bit of dessert. We just don't do it often enough, do we?
I agree.
We hope you enjoyed our time together.
And if you like cooking with plants, be sure to visit almostvegancookingschool.com and enroll in our online cooking course.
It's all in an effort to heal our bodies, heal each other, and heal our world. One recipe at a time.